The best guy I played against might have been, Larry Bird, someone
Yeah.
like that.
How good was
Michael
Bird?
Jordan.
I don't think people
don't
look at him and think,
Yeah,
oh,
they
he's
said,
a
"Oh,
white
no,
guy,
he's
slow guy.
the chubby white guy." He wore us out, man. Because he this muscle here, the one between his ears.
Yeah.
That was his best, because he made the 3-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. One of the great players. I had the opportunity to play.
Larry Bird achieved something in the NBA that even LeBron James, with all his accomplishments, hasn't fully replicated. Bird didn't just unsettle opponents, he genuinely frightened them. Walking onto the court against him felt like stepping into a storm beyond your control. Magic Johnson admitted that Bird was the only rival who made his hands tremble before tip-off. Michael Jordan said Bird was the one player who could truly get inside his head. Gary Payton called him the most lethal trash talker he ever faced. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has now confirmed what many suspected but few dared to say. Bird reached a level of psychological dominance that, despite LeBron's accolades, records and longevity, hasn't been entirely matched. Coming from Kareem, who competed directly against Bird, played through multiple eras, and watched LeBron's rise from the beginning, this statement reshapes the entire conversation about basketball greatness. Kareem's perspective is compelling because he respects LeBron deeply. He has praised LeBron's discipline, leadership, and remarkable consistency over a 21-year career. Yet when Kareem explains what sets Bird apart, he points to something beyond championships or stats, something fundamental to competition itself and the evolution of the NBA. Bird didn't simply dominate his era, he haunted it. In Kareem's eyes, there's a profound difference between being the most skilled player on the court and being the player every opponent fears. One builds greatness, the other creates mythology. That distinction is why Bird's legacy still resonates decades after his last game. Consider Kareem's vantage point. He competed against Wilt Chamberlain in the 1970s, a physically overwhelming player, then witnessed the Bird-Magic rivalry of the 1980s, often regarded as the NBA's golden era. Post-retirement, he observed LeBron's journey from teenage prodigy in 2003 to global icon. Few have seen the sport evolve across 5 decades as clearly as Kareem. So when he claims Bird had something LeBron hasn't fully captured, it's not nostalgia, it's insight. Kareem recalls Bird's mind games, the way arenas changed the moment he appeared, and coaches adjusting entire strategies to contain a single forward. Bird wasn't just a player, he was a force of nature, playing chess while everyone else played checkers. He could anticipate defenses before they formed, making impossible shots and passes seem effortless, often laughing in the face of his opponents. That psychological control never shows up in a stat sheet, but players from that era consistently attest to it. Bird invaded your mind and refused to leave. LeBron's approach differs. He overwhelms opponents with preparation, study, and strategic command. By tip-off, he has already mentally navigated the game, rehearsing outcomes and identifying weaknesses. This meticulousness explains his longevity at an elite level. But Kareem notes the difference. LeBron demands respect, Bird instilled fear. Bird's opponents faced a deep, pervasive dread, knowing he targeted their confidence as much as the scoreboard. LeBron's opponents feel pressure to perform flawlessly, a fundamentally different emotional reality. Both strategies lead to victories, but only one produces the stories that make veterans still shake their heads decades later. The eras themselves highlight the contrast. The 1980s were brutal. Hand-checking was legal, defenders could shove and grab at will, and teams like the Bad Boy Pistons assaulted your rhythm. Bird thrived in this chaos, absorbing punishment night after night while maintaining near-perfect shooting. Kareem recalls the physical toll, back issues, nerve damage, constant pain, yet Bird logged nearly 38 minutes per game for a decade without modern load management or medical support. Between 1984 and 1986, he averaged 26 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists while shooting nearly 50% from the field and 40% from deep, winning 3 consecutive MVPs and 3 titles amidst a field of Hall of Famers. This wasn't ordinary dominance, it was domination under the harshest conditions imaginable. LeBron entered the league in 2003 during a transformed NBA. Rules had changed, hand-checking was eliminated, defensive 3-second violations enforced, driving lanes widened, and contact penalized. LeBron's combination of power, speed, and coordination fit perfectly with this safer, faster game. His longevity is aided not only by genetics and discipline but by modern systems, advanced nutrition, recovery tech, sleep tracking, cryotherapy, injury prevention, and meticulous scheduling designed to preserve stars. Bird competed in an era without such support, flying commercial, practicing after grueling games, and relying solely on willpower to endure. Kareem argues that comparing Bird's 13-season career to LeBron's 21-year run requires context. Bird's body eventually gave out at 35 not due to lack of toughness, but because the era demanded a physical toll unimaginable today. Statistically, Bird played 13 seasons averaging 24.3 points, 10 rebounds and 6.3 assists per game, shooting nearly 50% from the field, 38% from three, and 89% from the line. He was one of the first to flirt with the 50-40-90 milestone. Every rebound, every possession, every touch had purpose. LeBron, across 21 seasons, averages roughly 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists per game, shooting around 50%, with 4 MVPs, for championships, and the all-time scoring record. Kareem respects this sustained excellence. Yet Bird's efficiency, control of game rhythm, and ability to elevate under pressure, averaging 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists in elimination games, remain extraordinary. While LeBron dominates in a system designed for longevity, Bird thrived in a battlefield, and that distinction continues to define the mythology surrounding his legacy. Larry Bird's greatness came from command and timing rather than sheer volume. He didn't need to monopolize the ball, he only needed it when the game teetered on a knife's edge. At those decisive moments, he would seize complete control. LeBron James has also had iconic postseason stretches. His 2012 title run, the 2016 comeback, and the 2020 Bubble Championship all showcased overwhelming brilliance. Yet there were times when his efficiency dipped, especially when defenses collapsed on him and forced him into perimeter shooting. The durability debate further complicates the comparison. Bird's career ended at 35 due to chronic back issues, while LeBron is still competing at age 40 at an all-star level. On the surface, this might suggest LeBron is tougher or more dedicated, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar rejects that simplistic conclusion. He emphasizes the dramatic differences in their respective league environments. Modern teams use private flights, advanced travel accommodations, and comprehensive medical staffs capable of preventing long-term injuries. While today's schedule is demanding, it contains far more built-in rest than what Bird endured. Bird's 13 seasons unfolded in a league that permitted far more physical contact and offered far less recovery. LeBron's 21 seasons exist in an ecosystem designed for sports science, preservation, and longevity. Kareem argues that greatness isn't simply about who lasted longer, it's about who maximized the conditions they were given. By that measure, Bird's concentrated stretch of pure dominance remains profoundly significant. For Kareem, true greatness is defined not by applause, highlights, or awards, but by respect, specifically, how other great players describe you when the lights go off and nothing remains to promote. Legends from Bird's era didn't focus on speed or explosiveness. They emphasized his psychological impact. Bird didn't just aim to defeat opponents, he sought to dismantle their confidence. Magic Johnson admitted that Bird was the only rival who made him genuinely nervous at his peak. Gary Payton called him the coldest trash talker in league history, and Michael Jordan revealed that Bird was the one player who truly scared him. This was not nostalgia, it was respect earned through mastery of psychological warfare. LeBron, by contrast, commands a different kind of admiration. He inspires awe through preparation, intelligence, and the ability to elevate entire teams, but not the visceral fear Bird generated. Kareem highlights the contrasting competitive identities. Bird treated psychological warfare as an art, intentionally humiliating opponents while executing his plan flawlessly. LeBron dominates through structure and precision, manipulating the game by studying every angle and exploiting it systematically. Both approaches are effective, but one inspires admiration, while the other evokes awe and dread. Kareem also notes a cultural difference between the eras. Bird's rivals wanted to beat him, face his trash talk, and prove themselves. Today, LeBron's peers often seek to join forces with him rather than challenge him directly. This shift reflects a change in competitive priorities. Bird's era valued pride and personal challenge. The modern NBA prioritizes championships, sometimes achieved through superteams. Bird also embodied his city, Boston. His loyalty, grit, and identity were inseparable from the team and the city he represented. LeBron's career, in contrast, has involved movement, adaptation, and evolving identities across Cleveland, Miami, and Los Angeles. Kareem, who himself moved from Milwaukee to Los Angeles, recognizes both paths but notes Bird's rootedness gave him a singular form of authenticity. For Kareem, basketball has always mirrored character. Bird represented purity, no theatrics, no excuses, no self-promotion, just winning. LeBron represents the modern superstar, a global brand, a leader in social conversation, and a figure who embodies professionalism in today's NBA. Modern stars can choose teammates, manage workloads, and control public perception. Bird's legacy was carved on the court through bruises, injuries and relentless battles, not media narratives or digital storytelling. Bird's greatness was forged in adversity. He played through injuries that would sideline today's players for entire seasons, logging 37 minutes per game despite chronic back pain. LeBron's greatness, in contrast, is built on preservation and maximizing every modern advantage. One battled time through sheer willpower, the other defies time through science, discipline, and strategy. Both are extraordinary, but Bird's emotional resonance, the sacrifice, punishment, and pride, stays with Kareem most. Ultimately, Kareem emphasizes how each player shaped the game. Bird forced the game to bend around his intellect and anticipation, exploiting weaknesses with surgical precision. LeBron shapes the game through adaptability and physical dominance. The difference lies in how they made opponents feel. Bird created real fear and unease. LeBron commands respect and careful execution. Bird's greatness felt personal, targeting confidence as much as points. LeBron's greatness is mechanical, systematic, and strategic. Both dominate, but only one embodied the raw spirit of competition as it once existed. When Kareem weighs in on the Bird versus LeBron debate, he doesn't deliver a final verdict. He offers a perspective only someone who experienced both eras can provide. Greatness isn't measured by longevity or totals. It's measured by presence, impact, and how a player reshaped the culture of the sport. Larry Bird accomplished this without the comforts or systems available to modern stars. He did it through mental warfare, clutch brilliance, and an unwavering refusal to surrender to opponents or his own body. In Kareem's eyes, that is the truest measure of greatness, regardless of records.